Time. How does this sound? I'm going to serve you the most sweet, balanced, and unique cup of coffee that I've ever had. It's a dance between acidities and flavors, body and sweetness rather, all the way from hot to cold. And I love this cup. Over the last 19 months, I've found that in order to progress and grow as a coffee professional, I needed to challenge myself and rethink my entire approach to coffee. And this is a journey that started at the farm, because without their hard work and dedication, none of this would be possible. And today I have the honor of representing not just one farmer and their coffee, but two. I'm using a blend of two contrasting coffees that I've developed to have a harmonious balance in the cup all the way from hot to cold. And I remember the first time that I ever had Kefir Eugenioides. It had such sweetness and such a mouthfeel with these intensities to the flavors. It was unlike anything I'd had. This unique and rare species had no acidity and no bitterness to speak of. The farmer at Finca Immaculada, Julian, he processes as a natural to be as clean as possible. And when I first tasted it, I saw so much potential. But I knew in order to serve it to you today, I would have to find a way to express acidity through this coffee and balance out some of these intensities. And then I remembered. I had a coffee while I was in Ecuador. It was at Hacienda La Florida, and it was a washed catucai. This washed catucai had such an intensity to the acidities and these beautiful floral and botanical notes, and I just fell in love with it. The farmer there, Fabrizio, he has such an understanding of how his agronomy is linked to the processing, and he was able to show us a whole new side to what we would typically expect from a washed catucai. Now, I decided to blend these two coffees, and at the time, I wasn't sure it was going to work. I had all of the hard work of the farmers before me, and the rest now was in my hands. So I started to experiment and learn, and I came to understand that I could use 60% of the Eugenioides with this heavy, rich sweetness, combined with 40% of the catucai with these vibrant, sparkling, and these unique notes of florals and botanicals, and I could get a harmonious balance in the cup, all the way from hot to cold, with some unique notes today of tropical mango and guava that weren't there before, and it was totally unexpected. I'm going to start to brew, and I'll keep on explaining my approach as I do. So, these two coffees are more different than they are the same, and I needed to treat them differently in the roast. So I kept them separate, but I roasted on the same profile on a hot air roaster 5 days ago. I found that this gave a great expression of the flavors for you today. The brewer that I'm using, it's this metal V60. I've chosen this shape and material to give us the best clarity of flavor. And the recipe that I'm using is 20 grams of coffee to 300 mils of water. And to be honest, this is a little bit more than I would normally brew with, but I found it just gave such a structure to the syrupy mouthfeel when cool. The water today is incredibly important. It makes up around 98.6% of this brew. My team and I have custom designed our water after lots of trial and error. We found that equal parts magnesium and calcium were best to bring an expression of this vibrancy to the coffee. The first kettle today is at 93 degrees, the second at 88. And I chose this to give an extra juiciness in the hot stage. I'm dividing across 5 pours today, which allows us to grind coarser and have a more even extraction to the strength that I was after. And I'd like us to please go through some tasting notes together. So I'm going to ask you to write down in the aroma. It's candy-like, with notes of strawberry, rose, and a hint of orange blossom syrup. The hot flavors a rose, raspberry, and a floral honey. The warm flavors. The rose and the raspberry remain, and we find, correction, the raspberry and the floral honey remain, and we find some tropical mango. As it cools, there's going to be jasmine, pink guava nectar, and grilled pineapple. Now the aftertaste. There's this jasmine note that lingers throughout. And we find it sparkling and champagne-like. The acidities. They're vibrant and lively. And we have mostly tartaric with hints of citric. The body today. Also in the acidities, you're going to find that that remains really structured and integrated all the way from hot to cool. And back to the body. It's going to be juicy with a lactic quality when hot. And then as it cools, becomes more rich and syrupy. And then we have to talk about the balance. And the balance is what makes these coffees truly shine. It's not only a balance between the sweetness, acidity, body, and flavors, but also a balance between the coffees. We have these two different coffees that are contrasting, and in order to further enhance our experience today, we're going to do something a little bit different and unique. Now, what I'd like you to do, at 3 stages in the cool stage of the cup, I want you to take the liquid in your mouth, hold it there just for a few seconds, move it around, and you're going to notice some unique things. The first time you do it, I'd like you to think of the katukai. I'd like you to think of these vibrant acidities and these unique floral and botanical notes. In particular, the jasmine. The second time you do it, I'd like you to think of the eugenioides, please. I want you to think of these richer, more syrupy notes. And then realize these guava notes with the hints of grilled pineapple. And lastly, I'd like you to please think of the blend. Please think of how these two coffees are harmoniously and seamlessly integrated, all the way from hot to cold. It's a real delight, and I've been so unexpectedly surprised by these coffees. It's amazing. I'd like you to please evaluate the aromas directly from the carafe. Please enjoy these beautiful aromas, which are candy-like, of rose, strawberry, and a hint of this orange blossom syrup. So I'm going to have to grab your attention here really quickly, guys. But I realized something over the last 19 months, and it's that we're all uniquely tasting, and we all perceive taste and flavor slightly differently. So in order to unify us, I've chosen this cup on purpose. The pink color is going to help enhance and guide you towards the extra sweetness and these raspberry notes, while the weight and the texture are going to reinforce that syrupy body. And I'm going to ask you for that reason to take hot from the spoon, warm and cold from the cup. And please don't forget to hold the liquid in your mouth 3 times to experience the true balance of these coffees. And now that we're coming to a close, it's also the end of this journey for this blend right now. But there's something I can't control, and it's how you're going to perceive the coffees. But I do believe in them. And I believe in these brews, and I believe that this is truly special and unique. And if we want to have more shared experiences like this one, I believe that we can't be afraid to experiment and to learn in order to grow. So on behalf of Julian at Finca Immaculata, Fabrizio at Hacienda La Florida, my team, and myself, I want to humbly thank you very much for being here, and I sincerely hope that you enjoy. Time.